What's Gucci with it, veterans, military? Hey, today we will be talking about and breaking down a VA decision letter, and we're going to be going through a what if this veteran did a little bit better on what was needed for this VA disability claim. Now, let's get into it. So first of all, this veteran was he put in for four things. He put in for bronchitis, allergic rhinitis, pneumonia, as well as tinnitus. He was denied for 3. The VA gave him 1, but they gave it to him at 0%. Now we're gonna break down each of these, but I just want to keep an open mind. If you got any recommendations, by all means. If you got a personal story, please share it. This is just my analysis of the specific claim that was adjudicated. So 4 things, 3 things denied. Total fucking VA disability rating 0. So the VA rating criteria for bronchitis or chronic bronchitis, there's a lot of information on here. The main things that we need to worry about is what is FEV. FEV is forced expiratory volume, as well as FVC is going to be forced vital capacity. Both of these things will be measured on a breathing apparatus testing machine, whether there's 3 to 4 different versions of it that a VA CMP examiner or your specific doctor that's treating you for anything respiratory issues, they should have this machine. Pretty much you're going to be blowing into it for a certain amount of time. Measure if you meet these criteria. Specific percentage is associated with a percentage level. So in order to test for this, the VA, they conduct PFTs. What are PFTs? Go to the next slide. PFTs are pulmonary functions tests, which are needed for all respiratory disabilities, military or veterans, submitting VA disability claims in order to receive VA compensation. Now, since they gave him a 0%, he can still get treated at the VA. However, since he didn't blow the specific levels needed to establish at least a 10%, the VA did not give it to him. So what does he do in this situation? I recommend he get back in with his doctor, whether it be pulmonary or his family doctor, and have them evaluate him several times, probably once a week, once every 2 weeks, and conduct this test, the specific test that the VA will be doing in a CMP exam, compensation and pension exam, to ensure that you're blowing the levels needed in order to establish at least a 10%, because you don't want to submit a claim in January 2022, and then it doesn't finalize until January 2023, mid 12 months plus. If you're waiting 9 months plus for 0% and multiple denials, it's going to hurt, and it's going to discourage veterans from moving forward into the VA claims process. They'll be like, what could I have done better? Then we got allergic rhinitis. Obviously, allergic rhinitis is considered Pact Act Presumptive condition, and for all Pact Act Presumptive conditions, you're still going to need a diagnosis. You're going to need continuity of care, as well as some level of medical evidence. And for all Pact Act or any presumptive condition that a veteran is claiming, you still need a diagnosis. More than likely, this veteran did not have a diagnosis. So what will be the remedy to that? Obviously, take that information from that VA decision letter. Okay, I need a diagnosis. Okay, I might need a CAT scan. I might need a nasal endoscopy specifically for allergic rhinitis. Get in with their doctor or ear, nose, and throat doctor specifically. Make complaints. Get that established. Go to them, be forthcoming and upfront. Hey, I'm a veteran. I'm trying to work on medical evidence for my VA claim. Are you going to help me? Yes. No. Okay. I'm going to keep it pushing to the next doctor that will. Ear, nose, and throat. There's multiple ear, nose, and throat doctors, as well as just regular nurse practitioners or MD level doctors all around you. You just got to take the time, look for them, search for them, get evaluated, and get the medical evidence that you need. Now, when it comes to allergic rhinitis specifically, good medical evidence for that will be a CAT scan and or a nasal endoscopy. It's going to measure your level of blockages in your nasal canal, as well as any obstruction, things of that nature, see any issues, further issues that can increase you past or identify which specific rhinitis that you have. This veteran seems like they only had allergic rhinitis, which awards from 0 to 10 or 30% being the highest for just regular routine allergic rhinitis. There are different levels. One rhinitis awards at 60% at the highest. Another one, like granulo maximus level gives you 100% for that one alone. So what this veteran needs to do is get in with his doctor, get an actual diagnosis. Possibly, I would definitely recommend a nasal endoscopy and or a CAT scan. Start building that medical evidence. Record the occurrences and their frequency, how long it's taking them out to fight, and we move on. Pneumonia. So when it comes to pneumonia, the VA doesn't have a specific rating criteria for pneumonia. It can be established or lumped in. Usually the VA may roll it in with asthma, bronchitis, another respiratory issue, because it's not a specific rating scale or criteria for it. It could be rolled in with, bronchitis, but it all depends on that veteran and that medical evidence. If it's one and the same, or if it's like, whenever he has pneumonia, whenever he has bronchitis, he's having, symptoms of pneumonia as well. The VA could have gave him a 0% non-compensatable, because pneumonia isn't really associated with 10, 20, 30, 40, or 50%. It's not, that's not the case. Now, the veteran just wanted to get treatment for it. Pneumonia is almost like a seasonal thing. So if it's happening only within that specific cold season or, hot season, depending on you, the VA may just award 0%, non-compensatable. You can get treated for this whenever it does occur and, move on from there. If it was chronic pneumonia, meaning it was like happening 5-6 times a year for durations of 4 to 6 weeks of time, that's different. It changes a lot of things. The VA can use the general rating formula to render a higher percentage depending on the frequency and that medical evidence showing that it definitely came from your active duty time. Your service connected for it at 0%. You're getting treated, and now it's happening more often, more frequent. So then the VA can take the necessary steps to give you a general rating formula, 30, 40%. I don't know. It just all depends. Tinnitus. Very popular VA disability claim. A lot of veterans try to get it. However, a lot of veterans do not have a diagnosis, or military at that fact. Their deployment history may not support it as well, nor their military occupational specialty, MOS, their job, whatever they did in the military, didn't support, as well as their hearing conservation tests. Now, we take annual hearing conservation tests in the military. If there's no gradual or significant drop from the previous year, the VA, the military, it's not going to take additional steps to actually, test and see what's going on and stuff like that. Now, when I was in the military, I was on deployment. I was around a lot of loud machinery, and it did, going from when I got in up until after my first deployment and my second deployment, it was significant increased drops in my hearing, as well as, tinnitus. I reported that in the military, so I was able to get that service connected. Just like, occasional ringing in the ears and shit like that. Obviously, you know what it is. You know how frequent you get it, how often it happens, and how intense or the duration of it. So you want to make sure that you report it accurately, especially if you're still military, because tinnitus is one of those claims that's more objective. So it's pretty much what you're complaining, what you're reporting. If you're not reporting anything, if you went 4 to 40 years in the military, you've never reported it, once you become a veteran, is not the time to try to get tinnitus. It's a 10% rating. Cool. Y'all don't talk about. But hey, until next time, I'll post one of these videos once a week. If y'all got your specific story, hit me up in the DMs. I'll break it down, do a video on that as well. Try to open up the community to a lot more people, veterans, YT. We gotta keep it PG-13 over here sometimes, but not all the time. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, until next time, this motherfucking Debo. Y'all stay fucking Gucci with it.